Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So there is a new YouGov Economist poll that was just released yesterday, Wednesday. They polled people about Elon Musk, his DOGE boy band, Donald Trump. They're almost as popular as venereal disease. Almost. Like I said the other day, there's at least treatments for VD, right? Anyway, DOGE we are stuck with, I should say, day in, day out. Can't get rid of it. No treatment, apparently, at least until the midterms. But anyway, what they found also is that Donald Trump's popularity and his approval rating is dropping. So here's how views are changing. The start of Donald Trump's presidency, he had a 49% approval rating. They asked how he was doing in his job. So this is not his personal approval rating, his approval as far as his job. So at the very beginning, people were being generous, 49%, still wasn't above 50%, but 49%. They now, and I should say 43% disapproval at that time, at the beginning of his presidency, which again was like less than a month ago. Well, now it's at 46%. Approval. The disapproval has ticked up by even more. So he's at 48% disapproval as far as his job is going. So disapproval increased more than approval dropped. That's probably due to people who were previously unsure. They always ask like approve, disapprove, not sure. People probably were like, I'm not sure. Maybe some people were willing to give him a chance and now they're like, no. Gave him a chance, gave him almost a month, no. So as for Trump personally and whether or not people like him, he had at the beginning of his presidency 50% favorability rating. Okay, so pretty good for him. That was, again, less than 4 weeks ago. Now, or I should say also 48% viewed him unfavorably. So it's almost a 50-50 split. That has also changed. So now 46% view him favorably, 52% dislike Trump at this point. So it has swapped, it has changed. People are like, no, now I remember I don't like this guy. I liken this to, when you break up with someone, you guys are apart for a while and you forget about all of the annoying things that pissed you off, how they were so horrible. And then you get back together and very quickly you go, oh, yeah, now I remember why I hate your ass and never want to see you again. So this was inevitable. Anyway, the biggest change has been among adults under the age of 30. So YouGov had conducted a poll 2 weeks ago, and 50% of 18 to 29-year-olds at that point had a favorable opinion of Donald Trump. That has plummeted in 2 weeks to 39%. He has lost 11% of people under 30. Unfavorable numbers also shot up to 57% with this group. So this goes back to what I've said several times, and I really believe this, that a lot of young people, especially first-time voters, were just too young. They didn't remember Donald Trump's first term. They maybe knew about him, had some concept, about what he was like, maybe heard some things, but they didn't have a lived experience. They did not live through the chaos and the incompetence as all of us did. So anyway, but he also is losing some strength with older adults as well. They are not liking what they're seeing. So among 30 to 44-year-olds, so this would be, millennials, he has dropped from 45% to 42% favorability, and his unfavorable rating went from 51 to 55%. So, not moving in the right direction, and we're really early into this whole thing. And part of the reason why that, people are changing their minds and deciding, oh my God, what have I done? is Trump's refusal to abide by, basically, this is the gist of it, constitutional structure, norms, because they were asked about Trump withholding funds that have been appropriated by Congress, right? Congress, as you guys have probably heard a million times over the past few weeks, Congress has the power of the purse. They decide what is going to be paid, how much. President doesn't do that, right? That is not within his power. Well, only 24% agreed that he should have the ability or is right to withhold funds. Only 24%. 46% said no. The money has been allocated by Congress, was approved by them. It should be spent as approved. Also, 57% of those surveyed said Trump should abide by the judge's decisions. So all of these judges who are ruling against him, 57% of people say, yes, he needs to abide by that. He needs to listen. He cannot run afoul of that. Only 21% think that Trump should just ignore the courts. So that is a danger for him. If he starts listening to the likes of J.D. Vance and Elon Musk and just blowing past the court's orders. And this falls in line with what I've seen in focus groups. Because before the election and even after the election, especially among swing voters, so people who voted for Biden and then swung back to Trump, a lot of them were trying to justify their vote for Trump and going back to him by saying, well, yeah, he's like a bull in a china shop. And yeah, he's this, he's that. But, the economy was better under him. And, anyway, there's going to be checks and balances. That was how they justified it. Oh, well, the courts are going to stop him and Congress can stop him, blah, 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 blah. They did not believe that Trump could get away with his lawlessness. So if he tries to push it, he's going to turn a lot of these people off because they really believed that even though they were giving the keys to the kingdom to a madman, they thought there would be some people around him who could rein him in that had some common sense. So we'll see. I thought they were nuts. I thought that they were completely delusional to think that. I still do. So we'll see who's right. Also, these people, by and large, did not hear any of them really, maybe a couple, talk about the immunity ruling from the Supreme Court. So, they either they didn't know about it, or they just didn't have enough imagination, or they just, didn't understand what it meant. They also clearly didn't understand the Project 2025 plan to purge all civil servants and install loyalists. Because if they had, they would know, yeah, there's not going to be many people around him that are going to pull back on those reins. So anyway, I would expect to see a shift in upcoming focus groups, and I will definitely let you know. I've been checking. I haven't seen any recently where they've really looked at swing voters and gotten their feedback on how things are going. So we'll see. Anyway, even the YouGov poll, though, it shows that Republican voters are shifting a little bit in regard to lawmakers and whether or not they go along with Trump's agenda. So 46% say congressmen or Congress members should support all of Trump's policies. That is, even though it's still high, I mean, that is scary. And again, this is just Republicans. So 46% of Republican voters that were surveyed said, yes, by and large, Republican lawmakers should absolutely give Trump what he wants, go along with whatever he wants to do. That is down, though. So at the beginning of his presidency, again, less than a month ago, that was 52%. So it's still a plurality of support, but it's no longer a majority. So that is good. It is moving in the right direction. As for Musk and his backdoor boys, I overstated it at the beginning. They actually are still pretty popular. The polls show that the unfavorables are increasing, though. So just in this past week, their unfavorable rating went up by 7%, but they are still, by and large, pretty popular. It is almost 50% popularity. The biggest shift was among independent and young adults. So those are the people who are like, no, I'm not on board with what I'm seeing. His DOGE boy band is still in positive territory, though, as I said. So 42% favorability, 38% unfavorability, but less popular than the agencies that they are cutting and the departments that they're cutting, which is very interesting, as you can see in this chart here. So of, Department of Education, the VA, CFPB, all these different agencies that they're just taking a wrecking ball to, they are less popular than those different government agencies. So that is a risk for Trump and Musk. And the vast majority do not support cutting several of the departments that are on the chopping block. So of the respondents that were surveyed, only 28% say yes, abolish the Department of Education. 58% say no. That is a huge disparity. Also, only 16% support axing the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, so OSHA. 67% totally oppose this move. They're like, no, we want workplace safety. We want regulation. We do not trust our employers to self-regulate and, do the right thing by us. Also, only 15% support ending that IRS free tax filing system, which I mentioned a couple weeks back. That was one of the first things that Elon Musk said they were getting rid of. 63% want this still in place. They were like, no, we like this. This is one of the few good things that the government has done for us, to make it free and easy for us to file our taxes. So they're running afoul of what the majority of Americans want in a lot of respects. And in fact, many other of Trump's proposals are unpopular with the general public. So when they were asked about ending humanitarian aid to foreign countries, 52% said, no, I don't want to end that. I absolutely don't want to stop that. Only 35% of the people surveyed said, yes, we should stop doing that. This is USAID. So the thing that they have demolished and are just destroying lives over right now, that they've done this funding freeze and they were just, taking out all kinds of funding for all kinds of programs. The majority of people say, no, I want us to do this. I want our country to do this. And Musk is saying he wants to use AI. He and a bunch of these billionaire oligarchs, they want to use AI for a lot of things, like getting rid of workers. Totally antithetical to what Trump said in his first, second, and third campaign, right? He said he wanted to bring jobs back to America. They are talking about destroying the workforce, getting rid of jobs. But he also said that he wants to use AI to suggest cuts to the federal budget. Well, a plurality of the people surveyed oppose this idea as well, 44%. Only 34% of respondents said, yes, let's do that. In regard to the Israel-Palestinian war, the sympathy for Palestinians is rising. It's still very low. It's still, when they asked them, what they asked was, do your sympathies lie with the Palestinians, the Israelis, or both? Only 21% said Palestinians specifically. But they pointed out this is the highest rating, that is the highest number of sympathy for the Palestinians in 7 years that they have been, that YouGov and The Economist has been asking that question. And then 23% said, I have equal sympathy for Israel and for the Palestinians. Also, they asked about Trump's plan to take over Gaza, make it into, the Riviera of the Middle East, as he keeps talking about. That is wildly unpopular across the political spectrum. Only 19% of Americans in this survey said they strongly or somewhat support that. 19%. That is pathetic. 54%, including 33% of Republican voters, said no, we totally disagree with this. Also, there's a low approval rating for removing Palestinians. So, without even the U.S. taking over Gaza, people are opposed to even trying to move Palestinians to another area. 44% disagree. So again, not a majority, but a plurality. Only 21% said, yes, I agree with that idea. So Trump really needs to tread lightly with so much of this, because right now they may think that they have support. And here's where I think they're making a huge mistake. I've heard people say that, online life now is more reflected in real life. Like the two have merged and you're seeing, people in real life supporting things that used to only be on the fringe and online. Now that's changed. No, these numbers, these poll numbers tell me that what is going on online is a completely different world. It's night and day. So, because as I've mentioned, I lurk in right-wing spaces and I read the comments and I try to get a sense of what's going on, what the, thought process is, the sentiment of the day, and how people are feeling about Trump's policies. By and large, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Reddit, you will see in conservative spaces, people are more likely to support Trump. The you said defunding, all of the things that DOGE is doing, and Elon Musk and DOGE itself, across the board, pretty much. I mean, they're even trying to justify somehow Donald Trump's ideas about Gaza. I mean, it's absurd. So, yeah, just not the same. Not the same. So I think what we're seeing now is online, we're seeing the fringe. We are seeing only the most radical people who are commenting online and getting on there to, commiserate and share their thoughts versus, people in IRL, in real life, are like, no. Anyway, I will keep you guys all posted. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.